In some places, silence is not the absence of sound. In the polar night, where there is no sun, no sense of time, no direction, a researcher who spent weeks there once said, "The worst moment wasn't when I saw it, but when I realized it had been there before I arrived." On one of the nights of the polar night, when the sun doesn't rise for weeks, when darkness becomes the rule, not the exception, the explorer was alone. Not alone in the usual sense, but isolation, a place where no human being was ever meant to exist. The temperature had dropped below -40 degrees Celsius, and the wind wasn't heard. It felt like heavy breathing passing close to the ear. This man wasn't an adventure seeker. He was a researcher, there to document the effects of prolonged isolation on the human mind. He chose this region specifically because the local people spoke of something strange that happens in the heart of the polar night. Something that doesn't always appear and doesn't appear to everyone. On the fifth night, while writing notes inside his tent, he felt something that made no sense. Not a sound, not a movement, but a feeling that he was being watched. He stepped outside, holding his lantern. The light was weak, fading just a few meters away into the frozen fog. And in that moment, he saw it. A tall shadow, motionless, unaffected by the wind, untouched by the falling snow. Its features were unclear, but its eyes were clear enough. He froze in place. What was unsettling wasn't its shape, but the feeling it carried. He didn't feel fear, he felt something closer to. Exposure, as if his presence there had never been a secret. The encounter lasted seconds, or minutes, even he could no longer tell. Then, simply, the shadow vanished. The next day, he decided to end the expedition. But before leaving, he visited a nearby village and asked an old man about what he had seen. The old man wasn't surprised. He said calmly, "We don't say there are creatures in the ice, we say the ice is watching." Then he added, "When isolation stretches on and the light disappears, a human is no longer a visitor, but becomes visible." What the explorer saw was not new to this land. According to the legends of the northern peoples, there are beings that appear only during the polar night. When darkness lingers, the sense of time weakens, and isolation becomes complete. They say these beings do not attack, they do not chase, they only watch. But science offers another explanation. Under conditions of prolonged isolation, extreme cold, and the absence of light, the brain begins to perceive shapes within fog and shadow, real visual phenomena formed by exhaustion, sensory deprivation, and the reflection of light on shifting ice, shapes that may resemble standing figures that may seem as if they are looking back at us. The real question is not, was what he saw real or an illusion, but was he truly alone, or was the place itself? Watching him, the explorer returned and wrote his report. He didn't mention the shadow. He didn't mention the ice. He left only one sentence. In conditions of extreme isolation, the real danger is not what we see, but what becomes aware of us. And since that expedition, he never returned north, not because he was afraid, but because he understood something simple and deeply unsettling. In some places, we are not alone, even when we believe we are.